I've been here before. Right up. Including bridal boot camps. So good stuff, alright. No worries, just come in next, grab a seat. Okay, just a few little bits and bats guys and then we're going to get going. First of all, parking, if you've not been here before, most of you have been here before now, but parking is basically over in that corner, that's the best place. You can fill down this side here, but just don't park in front of any of the units here, and that applies to a lot of you come in the day and do personal training and other bits and bats here. That applies to them as well. Arrival time before the session, we've got other bits and bats going on in and around the boot camp on certain days, so we try and keep the time that you arrive at the gym to no less than 5 minutes, so you're alright, just sort of like have a seat down there or something, just keep out of the way a bit. When you come in, if you're wearing outdoor footwear and you're coming in from work and stuff, just make sure you come in through the weights room and you're not going over the mats as well. And then last thing really with the boring issues is the fire exit is at the end of this corridor and it's 7 points of the car park. I'm going to give you a bit of a background to the Aura Fitness Boot Camp. Basically I started the boot camp a few years ago and at the time there was probably maybe only a few boot camps knocking around in the UK. I'd seen the idea in the US and thought what a good idea it was. My situation was I was fully booked up my one-to-one slots, training about 15 clients a week, well 15 clients but each of them were having maybe 2 or 3 sessions, and I wanted to work out a way of helping more people achieve results. So the only way to do that was to sort of get people in, train them as a group, but then use the personal training session on a one-on-one basis to sort of like look at like monitoring nutrition, look at monitoring like your actual overall results, are you getting fitter, are you losing body fat, are you achieving your goals, things like that. So that's kind of where it's come from. So it is really a group personal training model. Now I am aware that there's a lot of other boot camps creeping in now, especially over the last 12 months, and they're sort of everywhere. You can jump on a boot camp for maybe £2.53 quid, and I'm aware of that, but the biggest thing that's different about this place is that the vision I had at the time in setting the place up was to set up a group personal training model in that people will be moved forward over a period of time, rather than just turning up and getting flogged, going home, with no monitoring of progression. That's where this was different. And we have this technical term, a macro cycle, which is what I like, whereas we've got a 4-week period where we can train people. You lot don't pay it up front, we've got you for a month, we can get you fitter. There's no risk of you running off and not coming training next week and missing sessions and stuff. So that's kind of like a bit of a background to it all. How does it work? We use this fancy periodised model, which is basically based on the Russian model of training people, which is where we take different fitness components and manipulate them over a period of a week. So sometimes you come in and you're working for a long time, maybe 70%. Other times you might come in and you're working absolutely flat out for 20 seconds, doing repeated cycles, and that challenges different energy systems. And that variety and intensity produces the results. So that's how it works. Shocks the body into results. What can you expect? Most people are generally here to change how they look. That's what we tend to find. So body composition wise, it's not unusual for people to drop the clothes size over the month and drop up to a stone in body weight. If it is more that side of things that you're looking at, we do like a weigh and measure thing. I know there's a few of you like on the 8-week programme who are already getting weighed and measured, so you're not going to ignore it. But anybody else that's just starting the boot camp tonight, there's this £5 option. If you stay behind at the end, we can take some stats tonight. We'll take them again at the end of the boot camp to make sure that you're achieving results. You're going to tone up and you're going to get fitter, okay? Now, in order of changing your body composition, then changing your muscle tone, then changing your fitness, your diet is really, really important, and in that order, that's the most. If you want to change how you look, your diet is like really, really important. You could come in here 5 or 6 times a week and follow a bad diet and you wouldn't really change how you look. So we've got some nutrition guidelines that we'll give out to everybody at the end. A few people might already have them from being in here. So I really would advise that you follow that to the letter really. It's not it's a sensible eating plan, it's not it's not something that people can't follow, it's not a quick fix. But that is really key to getting any improvements in how you look or your clothes size or your body weight or anything like that. A couple of other bits and bats. Personal training versus boot camp, what's the difference? I think it was when I did a session with Helen Rock, it prompted me to really hammer this home to people, because the difference between bootcamp and personal training is, at bootcamp you come in here and you get worked hard, and yes we do weigh and measure you to a degree, and we do give you nutrition guidelines, but what we don't do is work closely with you and monitor those results on a one-to-one level, and that is the biggest difference. I feel that the industry in general, I feel specifically this facility is going down the route of using a group environment which is more cost effective for training people, but then using a one-on-one environment for actually monitoring, managing, motivating people to move forward over a period of months. So that's what we call it, personalised supervision. That most people in here, I'd probably say 80% of people in here have had some personal training at some stage. Last couple of bits and bats, recovery is really important. You're going to be training hard 2 or 3 times a week. You need to make sure you're hydrated, drinking lots of water. Make sure you follow the nutrition guidelines. Make sure you're doing the stretching that we do at the end of each session when you're not in here, when you're on your own in between sessions. Contrast showers are good. Minute in the cold shower, minute hot, minute cold, minute hot. 5 times, so that takes 10 minutes. That flushes all the lactic acid out. Rest and sleep are really important. Like a lot of people who come in here are already really fit and they're doing loads of training outside of this. They might be running every day or doing whatever. If you aren't getting that rest, then you will literally will not, your body will not burn fat and you will not move it forward. Sleep, you need to be getting 8 hours a night, guys, if you want to burn body fat and perform optimally. You'll be working muscles that you're probably not used to working, okay. I'm looking around the room, most people have done some work in here over the last few months, but for those of you that haven't, you're working the muscles quite a lot. You've got your posterior chain, which is sort of, well, back of your shoulders, lower back, bum, hammies and calves. They're the areas people tend to get really tight when they're in here, because most people are sat down at work and those areas become sort of lengthened and a bit weak due to the posture. So they're areas you're going to find that you're getting stiff. Don't worry about it as such unless you get any pain, but just be aware that you do need to follow decent recovery strategies because you're going to be training hard. And last one, we're in out of space. Our expectations for the month. I would expect that everyone would make a decent effort to follow that diet. I don't really enjoy training people that are staying the same. I like people moving forward, and that's certainly one thing I'd expect. I'd expect 100% effort when you're here at bootcamp, and honesty, so honest training, so pushing yourself. I'd expect you to do your extras, so if you're only coming here twice a week, then you probably need to be doing another 2 sessions to get results. Now, whatever you do in those 2 sessions is going to be different from person to person, and some people might be coming here 3 times a week. If you do need any guidance on that, then personal training is a good way to go forward with that, a couple of sessions. I think generally, summing that up, I think the word commitment's really the word I'd like to use to sum that up, and I've just put take action and make it happen for yourself and have a good month. And that's just about it before the hard work begins. So, is there any questions? Nobody nodded off. Right, no questions, no? Okay, right, we'll get warming up. Structure of today's session, we're going to warm you up, stretch you. We're going to be working for 90 seconds today on each station. There's going to be 8 stations. You're going to go around, work for 90 seconds, 20 seconds recovery over 8 stations. Then we'll have a big break and then we'll do it again. So 2 circuits tonight. We'll pick that up as the month goes on.